Hello, and welcome back to The Broken Doll. Well, I come to you today. Now in the background, I don't know if you heard it or not, but there's police cars going off. Left, right, and center today. I'm hiding in here, so they're going to have to look for me if they want me. Anyways, I'm cleaning up these doll's arms right now. I cleaned up this one here, so this one's looking pretty good. Got all the paint off of it. Now I leave this paint on here because that holds that. You can see it's kind of loose, but I think it's okay. It should be able to take what I need it to, like, it should do what it needs to do. If not, we just put a little bit of Milliput in here and it'll hold it still. We're going to work on this one so you can see what I do here. I work with several tools. I got my Dremel out, I've got my big knife out, and I have this little scalpel here. And where I can't, where the scalpel won't go in, I try my big knife. And sometimes this paint is just too hard. Yeah, it's just sometimes, and if it's too hard, because I don't want to break the knife, I go to the bigger knife sometimes. I'll go this way. Actually, let's put on my glove, because I get a better grip with it too. There we go. I'm going to go downward on it. There we go. There we go. Sometimes in the palm of the hand, the paint is kind of not laying in the hand, it's laying across. So you get this air bubble in there. When I paint, you repaint right in those creases and everything. But they did a lot of dunking as well. They dunked a lot of these dolls in paint, so it didn't go into always all, it looks like it goes into all the creases, but if you look, everything's kind of just lightly lined. You can just see the lines. That's about all, the division of the fingers. But when you hand paint them, you see everything. So it's a different story. There we go. Get some of that paint out of here, off of this doll. I try to use the Dremel where need be, but if I can work it out myself, I try to as much as I can. Now, I'm not saying that's across to every doll. There's some dolls that are painted very well. You know, they were a little bit thinner paint, so the paint went into the creases and everything. Depending on how thick, this is very thick paint. Very, very thick. I can see that it is. That's why I'm having such a hard time to get it off. And like I say, where it won't come off, that's where my Dremel comes in. But this is where you get knife gouges. There we go. And this paint can hurt when it hits the face. And I got glasses on right now, so wear some goggles, you know, in case it goes into your eyes, because you have no control. Once it lifts off the hand, you don't know where it's going to fly. You'll get it down your shirt. Oops. Ah, there we go. There we go. There we go. Wow, that came off really quite nicely. Ah, there we go. Sometimes you take fingers with it too. You can't control that part of it. You try not to. There we go. There we go. There we go, cleaning this. Just show you how I clean up an arm. There we go. My bucket to my left here, that was nice and full of dolls, is now empty. I found another container so I could put the last of the dolls into that container. There's like 4 in that one, but they're small dolls. So, but each one has to be specifically fixed to its own problems. So that bin could take a little while. Just because there's 4 dolls in there doesn't mean it's going to be, but this bin, it just has some porcelain arms in it and some doodads, you know, I call it. So that is really wonderful. And I got some dresses and things. I'm going to go through that bin and fix things up in there. And then I'm going to bring another bin over. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm ready to bring a bin over. Yay. That's delightful. That's a good thing. Okay. There we go. Oh, that came off beautifully. One big piece. I like when the big pieces come off like that. You're just like, yay. Did I kick a finger? No, I didn't. Okay, yay, yay. Okay. There we go. Wow, that was nice. There. Wow. I love when those... I like big pieces, but with no fingers in it. Just big pieces of paint. There we go. Ah, there we go. You have no control over it. Like when you do this, you know, it's not like you can't rebuild fingers, but you just don't want to. You want as much as original there as possible. All right, well that looks good. That cleaned up really nice. You know, I got a little flick right here. There we go. And there's no more paint on that hand. Look at that. Beautiful. Little piece right here. You'll always find something somewhere. You think you got it all, and a little flick will sit there. There. Flick it off. A little flick of paint. Now, what we're going to do here, we're going to clean this up with my Dremel. This is called the Stilo Dremel. And for those that are new on my channel, this is what I used to as well. And when I got into dolls, I've said this story before, but I'll tell you for all the new ones here. My husband had a Dremel, but it was a great big giant one, like you hold in your hand like this. And when you're trying to go into little things with a big Dremel, it's hard to hold. It was by accident I found this. I was at Home Depot looking for something else, and I came across this. Came home just delighted, because this is women's size, like for small hand people. Some men have some smaller hands, and for women who have smaller hands, we can deal with this. And not just for smaller hands, for getting into those tiny places as well. So it's a combination of a lot of things for those who find it this handy. It'll fit for their needs. So, you know, even big hands can handle this too, just as well, because they might be working on a small project, so a smaller area, and these are great for smaller areas, even with bigger hands. So I'm just saying, we luck out for those that got smaller hands, and it works out. So for that, so I'm going to clean this up here. There's some paint right in this crevice in here. So I just sand that out. I want to bring the paint down a bit. I don't want to lose all that paint. Now the reason why I wanted to get this down is that when I like this paint back the paint off a little bit, is because when I paint, I don't want to see any of that paint up in this area at all. This will stay flush to the arm. So when you got it flush to the arm, all I want you to see is my paint. That's it. And that's great. You know, I'm happy with that. I've thought about taking this out, but then I thought I might do more damage than any good. So I'm going to keep it just the way it is, and sometimes don't play around with what you shouldn't play around with. So, you know, unless you feel good with it, but I don't. So take some of the pointedness out. There we go. don't want to do too much here. Okay, that looks pretty good. And that's ready for spackling now. And so we'll spackle this, get this all looked after. You can see where some of the top compo is missing here, so we'll have to rebuild that back up again. So now we have 2 arms that are ready to go. I don't know if these go to the same. Yeah, this is the same, right? Of course, because this one isn't built the same. Okay, so these 2 go over here. All right, then, now we're going to pick on this one here. Now this is, it looks like he held a little bottle. So we're just going to kind of clean him up a little bit with my knife here. He's got a little bit of crusty paint in here. Who's watching that movie out there, Welcome to Derry? My daughter got me into that, like into it. Oh, is that ever good? I don't know if any of you out there are watching that, but she loves stuff like this, and she gets me involved in it, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Comes on every Sunday anyways. She had to subscribe to a subscription here to get it, you know, so we watch it. Oh, really good. But yeah, so there's not a whole lot on this arm to do except clean. Again, I'm going to just, well, I don't know. I'm not going to clean that up. So that looks pretty good. Well, I hope you enjoy this. And I've only got this one other arm to do. So there's not a whole lot on it. It's just a little bit on the fingers. And just, again, I will do the same thing, go around here and clean this up. And then these arms are ready for spackling. So my next video will be about spackling. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed seeing this. These are just the things that you have to do to prep before you can move on to the next steps. Always prepping, always prepping. But I find this relaxing, fun, and whatnot. So anyways, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoy showing it. If there's something that you want to see more of, let me know. You know, but I'm just going to sit and clean these fingers up the same as I did the other ones here. And just get some of this paint off around here with my Dremel. And this will be ready. I'll show spackling next after this. So thank you for joining me. Leave me a comment and subscribe if you're passing by, because if you say to yourself, look at this lady is interesting, and I understand why she is. I get it. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and you won't miss anything. All right. Thank you for joining me. We'll be talking to you again really soon. Bye-bye.